the Reef, Reefwiser on the forum, and I'm now talking to the people with eXact Drip, the new water testing equipment we just saw at Magna a couple weeks ago, and I just got mine. I ordered mine, and they got it, finally got it here, and I'm looking forward to looking at this in the future. So I'll have on the call here, I have Chris Krzykwa and George Bailey from the company. And you guys want to say hello?
Hey, how's it
going? So tell us a little bit about your all's company and how you all do water testing and your whole background, your history of the company.
Christian, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, so we're Industrial Test Systems. We're based out of Rock Hill, South Carolina, so American company. We manufacture all of our testing strips, and we do all of our development out of Rock Hill. Mm-hmm. We've been in business 25 years.
Since 1989.
Yep, and we've ventured into all sorts of different markets, and one market and one category of water testing that we've gotten into in the last 5-10 years is photometers for digital water testing of pools, water municipalities, health departments, breweries, and most recently aquariums, and then marine aquariums, reef aquariums. So we're really excited about being able to branch off and apply our knowledge of water quality and our innovations into specifically the marine aquarium market.
Sure, and we so everybody understands, we started as a manufacturer of chemistries for visual test kits, test strips, reagents, and as he said, we moved into the photometers in the last decade or so. And initially we started by reselling manufacturers and adding our chemistry to those units. Now we manufacture our own units, and we have partners that help us do the assembly. So, but everything, like he said, designed and invented. Everything comes from the United States. So we have a different line of meters. Some people may have seen some of the older styles, like our eXact Eco Check, or we have Micro 20, which has been recently updated for Bluetooth. And then we have the line of traditional photometers, which we put out here for pool, spa, drinking water, well. This is our new body style. So, through the evolution of the meters, we've been able to now manufacture at a lower cost. So that's why we're able to bring meters to everyone for less than what you traditionally might find in the market. These are the more traditional photometers where the chips inside the units are pre-programmed. There's no communication with any with iPads or cell phones, that sort of thing. And then Christian, I'll let you go ahead and take back over here and talk about the iDips.
So given that traditional photometers with chips built in, this is the innovation. If you could hold that up to the camera so they can see. You showed the kit earlier, Ed?
Right.
Right. So this is the meter itself. That's it. It's able to do a number of different parameters, and that works through a smart device. A lot of you may recognize this. This is a tablet, and it works through our smartphone app. So Ed, have you gotten a chance to download the app?
Yes, I have the app downloaded on my iPhone, and here's my meter right here.
All right.
Very good.
You have some batteries in it?
No, I don't think I got the batteries in it yet. I just got it in. My wife.
So it works on
and the app is free.
App is free.
Right now, anybody watching this, you can go to the Play Store, or you can go to the App Store. So for iOS or for Android, download it for free. It's called eXact iDip, just like he has on the phone, right? So right now, you can actually manually enter results from your existing kits if you'd like to. But with these meters, as we'll get into, the brain of the system now is no longer in the chip of the photometer. It's actually in the smart device, whether it be the tablet or the phone. So what that means is, in the future, once you have one of these units, unlike the meters of the past, where if we have a new model or a new version or a new test, it's kind of like a cell phone. You'd have to buy the new version, trade it in maybe, and upgrade to a new model. Now everything's built into the app, the brain of the system, so that once you have this device, unless it actually breaks, you'll never have to replace this, because all you have to do with the app is just hit the update button, so you have all the new features, functions, and that was, as I understand, because I wasn't at the show personally, Chick here did.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that we let everybody know at the show, is that with this device, with this technology, we're going to be developing, adding new features, new functions, and all you'll have to do is simply update the app, and you'll have everything you need. Right.
If you find out, did you need to calibrate the setting on a particular parameter, you can do the app itself and not on the actual device itself.
Yeah, all this device will do. See, what this device does is it measures the light inside of here, sends the light transmission information to the app. It does everything else. In fact, this is the only device, we filed for a patent for this, that has two-way communication. So not only does this send information to the app, but the app actually sends the test information, procedures, timing, everything that's needed back into this device. In fact, the app can turn this device off when you're using it, if you want to do that. So, so it's sort of a, this is the drone unit, or like the slave unit, I guess. I don't know how else to put it, to the app. So these two, you have to have the app and you have to have the photometer for the system to work. So,
to me, it's a good way of getting it more. As you find that there's a problem, or you want to adjust the parameters on the device to get it more accurate reading, y'all will be able to put this out, download the new version of the app,
and you brought up a good point earlier, or a good question earlier that we receive a lot, is about how often do I have to calibrate my unit, or things of that nature, right? Well, because the unit is just the hardware, you would do your calibration within the app, but because it's an app, we can calibrate for you. So we actually do all of the calibration in-house, and then upload our new calibrations and our new algorithms into the app. So you never have to calibrate. What we tell people is that it's factory calibrated. So
the only thing that you have to, because it's software based is what he's getting at. In this, the only hardware you have to be looking at in terms of calibration is the LED itself. And so, because we deal with commercial swimming pools, regulators, drinking water, and so they'll, that's nice to hear you say that, Chick, but prove it.
Right.
So to prove it, we actually have available a dyed solution that you can put in the meter to verify that it's properly calibrated. And it's just very simple. You put it in there. There's a simple method. Takes you about 30 seconds to verify calibration. So, but like he said, they come from the factory. They're already calibrated, and I cannot think of a single unit we've had to bring back in and recalibrate since we've been introduced this meter about 2 years ago.
I like how sturdy the unit is. It's a kind of drop on the ground and don't have to worry about it.
Right. And check this out. We've got a little bit of water here, completely waterproof. Those of you at MACNA got to see this live, but let's say you're going to collect a water sample and you bump your hand on the light and drop it in there. You just grab it out and it floats.
So you'll see in the design as well, if you have any experience using photometers, that you'll have a cell, a test cell or sample cell that you have to remove, and some of the test kits you'll have to alternate. So you'll use one for the blank and then put another one in to put your sample in, run it, and then get the result. With our design, we actually permanently mounted that into the device itself, so that, like he was showing, you can dip this directly into the body of water, or you can fill it up with the container, which is, if you're looking at repetitive testing, we always recommend collecting the sample and then doing the testing. But for a lot of the field testing, field use, you just want to get the quick answer. That's the way you do it.
Okay.
So like he said, now it runs on 4 AAA batteries. It has this on the end. This is the cap. This is used for some of the tests that require some mixing, like the ammonia test, and iron. Some of the tests are correct. Yeah, there's a few tests, but we'll show you the typical testing. That's right, exactly. Yeah. And then right from there, you'll also see the screw, and that's how you get to the battery compartment. So you use the Phillips head screwdriver, remove this. It runs on 4 AAA batteries. We do recommend that you use a high quality battery, because we've seen some Using cheap or inexpensive batteries is not something you want to put into, a photometer. It's treat this like you would any laboratory instrument. It is rugged, it is durable, but it's good to take care of it. So
I always watch out when I see one of these units. If it gets a little bit wiggy, always put new batteries in it. That's always fixes a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we had experience years ago. We would supply our kits with batteries. And I don't know if they were coming from China or what country, but they were very inexpensive, cheap batteries. And what would happen is that the batteries would leak on the inside, and that's not good for the components which are exposed on the inside. So that's why we don't supply them anymore. We used to do that for that, but that's why we recommend buying fresh, high quality batteries and putting that into the photometer. Don't cut the battery cost on this. Buy some good batteries. So. Do you want to show a basic test, Chris, on?
Sure, absolutely. I'd love to. That's kind of why we got it set up like this. I wasn't sure, if I know a number of people on Reef to Reef were at Magna, and let's do total hardness will work well with this water sample. This is not reef water. This is tap water. Or do you want to do a pH? What do you want to do?
Whatever you want to do. It's okay. I've got pH as well. If you want
okay. Yeah, we've got several different tests. Oh, and this is one thing we didn't get into before I run a test. Let me just say this. A lot of people that are familiar with photometers are familiar with the single parameter photometers. This is multi-parameter. So all of these tests we're able to run with one device. I'm not sure if that was clear. We could run calcium right now. We could run pH. We could run total hardness. We could run a number of different tests. So I'm just going to run total hardness. It says total hardness high range, comes in the box. What you would do is you take your iDip 570, you turn it on, you take your Bluetooth enabled device, you open up the eXact iDip app. Can you see this, Ed?
Yes, I can see it.
Yeah, should I move it any closer, you think, or is it all right?
Move it a little bit closer, maybe would help.
All right, we'll do it like this.
Here, I'll let you take a look at the screen. So,
yeah. All right. Do you want to touch the buttons as I hold it,
I
or
can do this for you, sure.
Okay. So, all right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hit Bluetooth test in the corner. All right.
And then, go ahead.
All right, and then the iDip will show on the screen the last result that we got. So go ahead and Bluetooth device, and it will see the serial number of this device, C001.
Which is on the back of the meter.
This is the serial number. And then date and time sync successful. Now there's a Bluetooth icon next to our result.
So they're connected.
So we're connected.
So that's a very important point because in many other devices you might use with Bluetooth connectivity, you'll have to go into the settings of the phone or the tablet to do the connection. With this device, this product, we do it actually in the app, so it saves you a lot of time. Do not try to connect it through your device settings.
Okay, so now you collect a water sample, and it's, like we said, pretty rugged, pretty durable. You can get it as wet as you'd like. It's completely waterproof. And now
select a test.
You will, on your app, you'll select a test. So go ahead and do alkalinity. It's the first one on the list, and we have that reagent available. It's also more applicable to reefers. So this is what your alkalinity reagent will look like, and it's actually a strip with the reagents. So you grab one strip of alkalinity reagent. This replaces all of your drops and powders and mixing. No mixing needed. It's a pre-measured strip with a specific amount of reagent. So I'm going to hit on my device 0. You won't see a change on the device, but I'm just going to let you know what's going on here. I see 0 ppm, and then I'm going to hit read, and I'm going to dip the strip for 20 seconds. Now I'm seeing a 20-second countdown on the device itself.
So on the photometer, it's going to count down from 20 down to 0.
Right.
Right. That's what I liked. It had a feedback for you, so you know how long you're doing it.
Absolutely.
So
back and forth, you're going to do about 2 strokes per second.
Yep.
And then when it reaches about 1 second, you want to go ahead and remove the strip from the cell.
So we've got very low alkalinity in this water, but it will communicate with the device.
So you can see this on both on the iDip itself and in the app. the result, in this case, of 12 ppm.
Mhm.
Now, this is as CaCO3.
Right.
But I know we're talking to a lot of the reefers.
KH.
They want to be able to change the unit of measure. So this is how you would change the unit of measure in the app, okay? So here's this actually, they have it mislabeled. The new update will correct this. It's labeled as GH. It should say KH at this point. But that's actually your KH value right now as it is, okay?
And so for the reefers that are watching, that they may not think that that looks like a normal result, but for tap water, especially the water that where we live and it's filtered and all, that's a very normal result. In your reef water, you might see a KH value of maybe 8.5 or 9, and we'll be able to get that full range, that full spectrum of those results. That's more or less how it works. Did you?
I had a question. Was how far up do you fill the water in the container here? Is there a certain height or level that you want?
Yeah, you want it completely full to the top so that you couldn't fit any more water in if you tried.
But you do not want to have it bubbled over. You don't want to have a bubble of water. So basically, you have a meniscus.
You kind of just wipe off the top of the water. You wouldn't want to do that with your finger.
You can use the cap. That's what I recommend.
Okay.
Use the cap.
Okay, that way it wouldn't contaminate the water sample.
Or, I mean, honestly, you can also do it this way. Fill it up and give it a slight angle, just like this, and then you'll see the same thing happen there.
Okay. Yeah.
That was just the question to kind of clear up that little point on, how you would test the water and what the level would be, that I was wondering.
So I want to go ahead and continue, if you don't mind, Chick. I'm going to continue on the app itself. So what we do have here is we just ran one of the tests. At this point, what we would do is we continue to run more tests.
Yeah.
We could run the total hardness high, the calcium, pH, etc. Once we run that test, from there, we select the results button down here. And in this section, we have it listed as customer. Now, if I'm doing it for myself, I would go into here, I would add myself, or, what you're going to do is either add a person from your contact list, or you can manually enter it just like this, okay? Right. So I'll put in, we'll put in one of our chemists, biology. Yeah. We can change the site. So if you're at a location, you have multiple bodies of water. It could be tank 1, tank 2, tank 3, and so on. We have defaults that are here. I just create a name here. So I'll put in tank 1 at this point, okay? And then I'll hit OK. I'll select that. I can then go to my result. I can add notes if I want to. Type in my results, okay? Go back to my testing. And then from there, once I've done this testing, I hit save. It's now permanently saved in the meter. And then this is the history of all the tests we ran. Given the fact that the brain of this is the app, the chip holds more memory than we could possibly test than we could possibly run. So
the file size is very small.
Yeah, absolutely. This is basically a spreadsheet on the back end of this. And then we can sort by customer, date, test. So if you want to look at trends, you can go to test, look at your trends. I'll do it by date. Then we have our last test that we ran. Here's the note that we put in. And at that point, we can, if we wanted to, we could share it, we could email it, go to select. You can even post this to Facebook or Twitter if you wanted to. So a lot of people are doing that. They're sharing it with clubs or their groups, so they can share it, put in their Facebook group that they're in and share it with everyone that's in that group if they wanted to. So
I think one of the questions somebody had was, could you export that to like an Excel spreadsheet?
Excellent question. Every single one of these, what will happen is we can do individually, or like I'm doing here, selecting a group of tests that I ran. I can go to email, and within the email body are the test information, the date, time, GPS coordinates. Every single test, sorry about that, has longitude and latitude with it, okay? That's in the history, the notes, everything that's involved. All of this, when you send it out by email, will contain a CSV file. So all that information is in a nice, beautiful spreadsheet. Mm-hmm. So you can send it to yourself, customers, however you're using this.
Okay.
So having seen kind of, that's a majority of the functions. And I know at Mechna, you got to see the full list of parameters that we have ready. And I'm sure you've been waiting to get this question out. But do you have any questions about the specific tests, or about the procedure or the method or anything like that that you want to cover?
One of the biggest questions everybody had was about magnesium. That was the one that seemed to be the most popular.
Let's run that real quick. Let's just show everybody.
Okay.
I think it makes sense. So
okay,
the meter's right next to you. Why don't you go ahead and run
calcium and a total hardness? Okay, so
I'm gonna let you run it. You just do it straight from there, just so you can show them real quick.
What I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to run through it at my own pace, and then George can kind of talk through what's going on.
Okay.
So what we've done with the app is, as everybody knows, when you're looking at magnesium hardness, calcium hardness, total hardness, the relationship is quite simple. I mean, there's other ions involved with total hardness, but you know, for the most part, we're talking about total hardness is equal to the magnesium plus the calcium. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that in reverse. We're going to first run a total hardness. Which one are you running first?
I ran calcium.
All right, so I'll get the calcium hardness. So, and obviously each test has its own chemistry. And I don't think we really talked about that either, which was what you'll notice instead of powders, liquids, or tablets, all of the chemistry is immobilized onto the strips. We've actually have patented this so that each strip has either one or numerous pads that holds the chemistry so that it's immobilized. It's actually doesn't require MSDS. It's considered an article, so that when you put it into the cell, like we're showing you here, that's when it releases the chemistry into the cell. So it makes it much easier for everyone. You know, you don't have to be a chemist to use the kit. You can be a chemist, like Chick here, or you can be, you know, anybody, high school student even that has no experience with this, and you can do complicated water testing. So that was the calcium hardness you ran?
Yep.
Okay.
And I need to actually go to the store.
Okay, so what he's doing now, he hasn't added the high range total hardness. Probably just refresh it.
Yeah, let me just see if it's on here.
Kind of hard doing it upside down.
Yeah. Let's see.
Another thing I want to mention to everybody, that every bottle at the top, you'll see that there is a expiration date on the bottles. It tells you how long that the reagent is good for. Like in this case, it says 7/16 is when this one is. This is pretty good.
Here, I'll just put this one. I'll have to refresh it.
So what we're doing now is we're just selecting the next test, which should be high range total hardness. And what you'll see is you'll see I collected a new water sample. So you have to discard the sample from calcium, which I ran, got a value of, what was it, 39? And then as soon as we can get the total hardness selected, we're going to hit 0. And then you run calcium, hardness, and then the magnesium result will be a product of that as soon as we get it set up. One question I know that you want answered, and a lot of people in the reef community want answered, is the detection limits and where they are right now and where they're going to be.
Yeah, that was a good question.
Right. Detection limits for calcium, our high range is 600, which, correct me if I'm wrong, that's sufficient for most reef tanks, Ed?
Right. It's it just goes between 380 to 450.
Okay. So yeah, our calcium test, the ranges are right where they need to be. The total hardness test, however, which would be how you calculate that magnesium value, our high range on that is I believe around the same as our calcium, so around 600 ppm calcium carbonate. When you do that conversion into magnesium ions, it's adjusted a little bit. I don't have that conversion memorized, but long story short, what we've got to do is adjust the algorithm for our total hardness test, so that so that we can detect levels around 1,200 or more parts per million magnesium.
Yeah, usually it's 1,250 to 1,350 parts per million is what magnesium people look for.
And what we're going to need to do is just adjust the algorithm. It's unlikely we'll need to adjust the chemistry, but if that needs to happen, then what we'll do is we'll adjust the chemistry, and then we'll also adjust the algorithm, and then you'll be able to run that total hardness test in the same manner and get the same results. Seems like possible technical difficulty. I don't know if this iPad is has an older version.
I don't have a passcode to download it. Is the problem.
Oh, okay. So what happened is this.
I'm trying to do the pass. I apologize, folks.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just explain it. I don't have a.
I'm just going to explain.
Yeah.
What happened is this. We use these iPads at trade shows, and this one has an older version of the operating system. So anyone that's downloading it now will be fine. Anybody on iOS 9 will be fine. Just this iPad needs to be updated. That's a little hard to do live. So what we're going to do, I'll just simulate the test. You would run the total hardness. You'll get a nice purple color development. 20-second dip time. And then at the end of the 20-second dip, you would throw out the strip. You would get your reading. Let's see. All right, and then once you have your reading, that reading, just like you saw before, transmitted to the iPad, and in the result page, instead of having only 2 results, your calcium result and your total hardness result, you'd have that third result also. You'd have that magnesium result automatically there on that page. So yeah, so it'd be like sort of like this. So what you're looking at from here is once we hit results, I have a good image to show as well. What's that? It's a screenshot of what that page looks like. Okay.
He's got one on his phone.
Mm-hmm. So what you'll see is this is just a screenshot. You'll see this. It says calculating magnesium results. So if you can see, I don't know. It says calcium, total hardness. This little cursor or pop-up will come up saying calculating, and the next screen looks like this, and it says magnesium. So you see calcium, total hardness, magnesium, 3 different values. Only 2 tests were run, but you got 3 results.
Right.
Okay.
And that's all done through the magic of calculations.
Exactly.
I think I got it.
Okay, well, now that we've just thoroughly explained that, I think we have the iPad going again. But I think it's a good time to maybe try to answer another question if you've got any more.
I think what test are you all looking forward to adding to the kits in the future?
So let's start with what the aquarium kit has right now. So the aquarium kit was designed a couple months ago with fresh and saltwater aquariums in mind, and it includes pH, alkalinity, total hardness, nitrate, phosphate, and ammonia. Those 6 tests. In a blue kit like this, and like the kit that you have, we can fit 6 reagents. So that's the only difference between the kit is what it comes with.
That's what you get in one.
Excuse me?
I said that's just what I'm just showing my kit.
Exactly. Yeah. So what you have there is the aquarium kit. What's planned for the future is what we're going to call a marine kit, and we're going to take out the ammonia reagent from the data we've collected from the people we've spoken with, experts. They say ammonia in a stable reef environment is much less important, and calcium is much more important. So of the 6 parameters that we're able to fit in a case, we're going to switch out ammonia for calcium. And then as far as future testing, there's a lot of stuff on the table. I know we're going to work on getting iron.
Well, the key to this is, we've talked about, strontium and some of the other
potassium, iodine,
all those. Iodine we have. That's already done. We can do that. But because it is app-based, all we have to do is finish the development of the test, do the improvements, push the update. Like he was saying, the problem you just had a minute ago was that it was an older version that we had corrected with an update. That's been updated. That's what's in the store. So it's that simple. All you have to do is the update, and you'll have the new tests available, which you can purchase in the store. And once you own it, you'll get all the updates, all the future.
I think the other question people had was on with phosphate getting a low enough ppm reading for like a low phosphate levels.
Right. So that's a good point. That's where our chemistries are right now, and in the early stages of development for the Machina show. What we did is we put on the table what we had available. So for the Machina show, I tried to be really upfront with people and let people know where our detection limits are. So nitrate, phosphate, those two in particular, those are going to require some adjusting. The nitrate, our lower limit of detection is 15 ppm, and most reef keepers know that once you're around 10 ppm, you're going to want to start adjusting things. Phosphate as well, you want resolution in the parts per billion range, and you also want levels around 0.02 parts per million. So those are our goals, and our current values, they're in our brochure, I believe, are 15 for nitrate and 0.09 for phosphate. Being that's where we are currently, that's not because of the capability of the device. That's because of some time restraints and just the fact that it's a brand new product, and we're working on. Well,
in terms of freshwater, we have greater sensitivity. The challenge is the marine water itself, the salt. So
it's a brand new medium.
That's what's really affected the sensitivity. So
it can do some interference. It does interference with the testing a lot of times. Even a
good example is if you take ammonia as an example. If we take this reagent by itself, we could use it in freshwater, and it would work great for ammonia. But when you put this into saltwater by itself, the salt interferes with it. So what we do is we add a Rochelle salt to the chemistry to allow us for it to work in the saltwater. But we've simplified the method so that it's actually used for both fresh and saltwater. But you have to have this conditioner for saltwater now, and we suspect for the other tests, the phosphate, we'll be doing something very similar where we'll have a conditioner or maybe a separate reagent system altogether, a separate strip for that chemistry to get the detection levels you're looking for.
And also have a software update also to help adjust for that too.
Right. Yeah. In some tests, we've done simple modifications to the test method to increase sensitivity. So it may be that simple. We don't know yet. We're working on that part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nitrate's one example. It's a test that works very well in our older meters. I showed some people at Magna the sensitivities we're able to achieve with the Micro 20 are extremely low, and it's just a matter of because it's a new technology, it's just got to be further tested and tweaked. Yeah.
That's one of the advantages of this technology for you all is to be able to adjust things as time goes by and you learn more about the different parameters.
That's right.
When you have single parameter testers, some other companies do single parameter testers. Those have a chip ingrained in them, and that chip means that if they ever want to change the test in any way, they need to recall the device and then send you a new one. Difficult to work with as far as.
You buy this one time and you'll be able to have all updated in the future all the time, you know.
Right.
Okay. That's what the advantage is. I know I've had Lamont test kits over the years, and so this is a pretty good deal for considering you get 6 tests and a thing for that. I mean, most of this would be a lot more expensive. You know, that's what I always. That's what I thought was more reasonable considering the test that you're getting with it, and the future tests we'll be able to do with like iodine and strontium to get a more broader spectrum of tests.
Yeah.
You get a hobbyist have a tendency to, some of them just do maybe 3 tests, some do maybe 4 tests, and then there's some hobbies that do 20 tests on the aquarium. So it's a broad range, and as you work, you'll get these parameters and different types of tests farther out to where you can fill the full market. That's what I look forward to in the future with this product, and enjoy that that y'all have y'all looking future of the product and developing it on and making it more suitable for the saltwater aquarium hobby.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have any questions or anything
I think that just about does it for today.
All
I
right.
think we covered pretty much everything, the basic parameters. And are you ever going to have? See, we got silica. I think other people wanted silica, iodine, nitrate, nitrite, strontium, boron, and iron. I think that was the ones that were most people wanted. And I had one person ask about what was it? It was on potassium. Is another parameter.
Yeah,
But those,
that's an old chemistry that we attempted to work with for a little bit, and then we abandoned it because the demand wasn't there. But coming into a new market where that might be potentially
a lot of
chemistry.
A lot of these, especially in Europe, a lot of the hobbyists are really into a lot of the different chemistry and are testing a lot of different parameters. And so I'm sure when you talk about a little bit about y'all are going to expand this out into Europe, and also how y'all going to how hobbyists is going to be able to get a hold of this product in the future, not through you all. I think you were going to go through like Dr. Foster and Smith and that kind of thing. We'll talk about that.
Right now, we're in the process because Magna was sort of the a test, if you will, to kind of put out the technology. We've been distributing the product in many other markets for many years already. So we wanted to really jump into this. So we're looking at the landscape right now, and we're inviting people to contact us to find out where they can get this, whether it be through us, through distribution. So we invite everybody to send us an email, which would be at its@sensafe.com. There's other emails and links. If you go to our website right now, on the homepage, you can actually ask questions as soon as you come in. So, and we look at this even over the weekend. You can possibly get a response from us. So that's one of the things we pride ourselves on. If you read any of the comments or feedback that people have about our company, it's in regards to the customer service. So but to answer your question, we're setting everything up at this point. We have, I know immediately you'll find our products on some websites like Amazon, and in terms of this market that we're talking about.
In terms of the websites that you mentioned, the big distributor type websites, those are relationships that we look forward to having. And at this point, it's just so new that the people that met me at Magna are the people that know about it, and that's about it.
That's the introduction.
Right, that was our debut, and we're really excited to expand and get bigger until everybody has one.
Right, so everybody can have one of these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I use it a lot because I'm older, and I like a digital test kit. I use digital test kits at work a lot. I'm in the food industry, and so I was really happy to see that y'all came out with this because I like my test kits a lot. I like to keep track of that.
Yeah.
So find trends in over time, and anything you can make it easier for somebody to do is a good thing. If you make it easy for people to do it, and they can see it easily, and that's the half the battle in test kits.
That's one thing we aim to do is make everything easier. In the app, we even want to do some things potentially, maybe add some charts and graphs, the ability to do that type of thing. That's the thing. It's all based on feedback. So I'm on reef2reef.com now. I've just made my username, and I'd like to get as much feedback as I can from that site, other sites, from individuals calling me at work, and from email and correspondence. Any type of feedback we get can potentially make it into the app and into the device.
Right, and if we can give you feedback, it'll make our device better. And then we'll be able to
Absolutely.
have a better device.
That's how we're able to get where we are today. Is because of the feedback we received from all the users. I mean, we wouldn't be where we are right now if it weren't for the feedback from everyone.
Right. So I wanted to thank you both for coming on the Reef to Reef show today and telling us about the new product. And I'm looking forward to put our batteries in this and trying this out over the weekend. Excellent.
Well, thank you, Ed. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, and appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Look forward to
and good luck to everyone.
We might have y'all in the future sometime when you get some the newer test kits, and we could come on and talk about those too.
Sure.
So,
Excellent.
Sure.
Absolutely.
And I mean, if the users have questions on particular test methods, we can do the same thing again as well.
Yep.
all right. Okay. Nice talking to you both, and y'all have a good weekend. Bye-bye.